y'all. What's going on? Happy Friday, everybody. It is Burn It Down with Kim Brown. This is a safe space where we set oppression ablaze and our favorite place that all the marginalized can just come together and hold hands as we walk around the margins, as we swing our hands and sing songs, living in the margins. Yes, I'm happy in the margins. I love it here. Oh, because the mainstream, scary place. Anyway, welcome everybody. I appreciate you all making some time to come hang out with me. We have got a stacked show for you guys today. Some good, some bad. The good, we're gonna what I tell y'all about that Trump mugshot. What I tell y'all, and not to say that I was some prescient, sage on the issue of would Trump, commodify his mugshot, but I told y'all that shit would be propaganda gold for him. I don't know what Fawny thought she was doing, Miss Willis in Fulton County. You should not have took that man's picture, lady. Now that is it. That is the piece of propaganda symbolism that will live on in infamy. Okay, and it's not going to do what all these Democratic liberals think it's going to do. And let me tell you how fucking goofy these Democrats are. Well, actually, I'm gonna hold that because it's a goddamn shame that our leadership, quote, our leadership is so feckless and can't do shit. And especially the ones that are supposedly the ones on the left, the progressive ones, these niggas is just garbage. It is a goddamn shame. But we're going to get into that later on in the show. I want to bring you all two stories before then, pertaining to two elders, two black men, one in Atlanta, the other in Pittsburgh Garfield neighborhood, actually. Did you guys hear that story about the big shootout up there in Pittsburgh? That's thousands of rounds exchanged between law enforcement and a man who was described by most mainstream media outlets as a squatter who refused to leave his house. I knew there was more to that story. I said, nope. That they are flattening, they being the mainstream media, of course. I said they are flattening this story too much. I said I knew I have a feeling there's something more to this story, and there is. The gentleman that was killed in Pittsburgh was a black man, a so-called, not my words, not my description, but a so-called extremist. He was a Moorish sovereign citizen. I said, I don't know nothing about them niggas, but I would not fuck with them. Okay. Well, I would not play games with no more sovereign citizens. And I want us to talk about this story coming up in just a bit, because between what happened, and the man's name is Will I gotta look it up. Sorry. I just drew a blank, but I'll get to it. But between the gentleman in Pittsburgh, the black gentleman who was in his 60s, between his defiance, his refusal to leave his family home willingly, right? Contrasted against what happened to 62-year-old Johnny Holman in Atlanta. It just goes to show you it doesn't matter if you comply or if you resist, or if you decide to resist. If the police want to kill you, your compliance is not required, right? Because if they feel like shooting you down, whether or not you are a teenager, a 12-year-old like Tamir Rice, or an elder like these two gentlemen we're going to discuss, the police state is here to make sure that black people know their place. So anyway, before I get into that, let me say what's up. What's up? What's up? Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? Man, I meant to come on this joint spitting. I was listening to some rap music. I was trying to get myself hyped up. And what came on? Little Kim's Queen Bee. If Peter Piper Peckham, I've done that already, haven't I? Probably lots of times. If Peter Piper Peckham, I bet you Biggie bust him. He probably tried to fuck him. I told him not to trust him. Lyrically, I dust him off like Pledge, hit hard like Sledgehammer. Bitch with that platinum grammar. I am a diamond cluster hustler, clean bitch, supreme bitch, kill a nigga for a nigga by any means, bitch, murder scene, bitch. Oh, fuck that shit anyway. Let me chill out. And let me tell y'all something, just for shits and gigs. I don't know how I feel about Little Kim's being like top 5 all-time female MC or anything like that, because Biggie wrote her first album. Biggie wrote the first album. Biggie wrote the first album. And I don't know how I feel about that. I'm one of them hip hop rap purists. I don't know how I feel about ghost riders. I feel away. I do feel away. So anyway, completely not related to anything that I got coming up here. What's going on, everybody? Who we got up in the building? Uh-oh, I see Holly in the building. I see my son Tyler in the building. I see Donnie in the building. I see Fronny in the building. Fronny, that lady still in your name. I don't appreciate that. Well, her name is Fonny. What kind of anyway, you know what? I don't even care. I don't even care about what that lady got going on. Who else we got up in here? Thank you guys so much for coming through. Big up to Wendy. I see you in here. Wendy, we got 42 people in here. What the rest of y'all? How come I'm not seeing y'all in the chat? What's popping? I don't know. Who's that, Nadia? Hey. What's up, Nadia? Thank you so much for coming through. What's up, Infinite Content? Peace, peace, peace. Infinite, you know about them Moorish sovereign citizens? That sound like some Philly shit. Definitely sound like some Philly shit. Except it was some Pittsburgh shit. What's up, Afra? I said, wow. I was shocked. Noli D, what's going on? Hey, me taking time. Big up. I was thinking about all my people, all of my YouTube people in the YouTube streets or whatever. And of course, let me shout out to the people. What's up, BPM, Black Power Media? I do want to go check out Kalanji's interview with Drew Dixon, the former Def Jam A&R executive, who was, I believe, sexually assaulted by Russell Simmons. Kalanji had sent me a link, and I said, whew, I need a minute. Like, I don't know if I could just go right to this. I kind of have to prepare myself to watch this. So I'm looking forward to watching that. So shout out to Black Power Media. Who else are my folks? Oh! Shout out to the Police Accountability Report. Big up to Taya Graham and Stephen Janice, two of my most favoritist peoples. If you guys are not already subscribed directly to the Police Accountability Report YouTube channel, I certainly encourage you to do that. Who else do I fuck with out here in YouTube? Will, what's your YouTube channel? No, I'm I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. Oh, shout out to Piper Carter Podcast. Piper sent me a message. I'm sorry, I'm just all in the business. She sent me a message on Instagram. I have to reply to her and tell her that I don't check messages on Instagram. So I'm gonna have to give Piper my phone number because I saw that she sent me a message. I'm like, God damn it, I can't check that one and not check the rest, right? So I'm gonna have to hit her up directly. Like, no, girl, you're gonna have to text me because I do not be on the Instagrams checking shit. That's asking way too much. Of course, Kalechi Okafor. Please subscribe to Say Your Mind podcast. It's available on iTunes and Spotify and here on YouTube. Who else? Shout out to the RBN ends. You know, I fuck with the RBN ends as well. Who else do I like? That might be it. I'm not that friendly. I don't like a lot of folks. So anyway, let me get to my doc here. Please come in and give the video a like, a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Thanks to everyone who has sent the channel material support. Patrick S. Thank you so much for your generous cash app. Patrick S has been supporting the channel for a good long while now, Patrick. I can't tell you how much I appreciate seeing that nifty. When that nifty came through, I said, ooh, there go Patrick with his nifty. Here we go. So anyway, y'all. So all right, let me sober up because this is a very, very sober topic. And let me give all the content warnings, all the trigger warnings for police violence, police brutality, and police murder. And in this case is the murder of an elder. Surely by now, you will have already heard that back on August 11th, Atlanta police, I think it was the night of August the 10th. It was late. It was after 11 p.m. August the 10th. When a 62-year-old deacon of a church who was leaving his daughter's house after previously being at Bible study, Johnny Holman, got into a fender bender. And then the details get a little murky because some media reports said that the police officer was going to give Mr. Hollman a citation. But then I don't understand how we go from citation to trying to put him in handcuffs, trying to get him into custody for what? For a citation? I'm confused. So in the course of the Atlanta police officer attempting to put Mr. Hollman in custody, the officer ended up tasing him. And then Mr. Hollman died. His children, two of his children, his daughter and his son, His daughter, Atria, I believe that's her name, and then his son, Johnny Holman Jr., came to the scene and tragically had to witness their father in tremendous amount of distress. And anyway, there's a lot to this. So let us all get caught up. And of course, there was an action Thursday at the Atlanta Police Department headquarters because they're not saying much. The Atlanta police are not saying much except the usual expected smearing of the victim. Somehow every media outlet, local media outlet in Atlanta that I looked at managed to tell me that somehow Mr. Hollman was at fault during the accident. I don't see what the fuck that has to do with absolutely fucking anything. Whether or not he was at fault, whether or not he was not at fault, why is he dead? Are you trying to link together his culpability perhaps in a minor traffic accident as a reason that he lost his life? You see how that works? Didn't we talk about this on the panel with Justine Barron? The smearing of the victim. Tale as old as time. They run that playbook each and every single time. So this is what I want to do. I actually want to hear from the family. Will, if you could please cue up, I believe, was that ABC News? My bad. I did not write the credits on the doc very well. But this is going to be an interview with Anitra Hollman, who is the daughter of 62-year-old Johnny Holman, and her attorney. They spoke with ABC News, and I want you guys to hear this because it's important that we hear from the family. And listen, let me say this also. I've already given my content warnings and my trigger warnings. I'm going to play some video, not at this instant, but coming up, just so everyone can be aware. That's going to be uncomfortable. But the reason I'm going to play this video is because the family wants the people to see this video. You guys know I do not do gratuitous murder of Black people. That is not how I would like to make my chops out here in this YouTube streets, by showing videos of Black people being lynched for just cause, right? Just because Black trauma and Black death is easily commodified. No, I don't roll like that. But the family wants the people to see some of these images. But let's hear from Johnny Holman's daughter and her attorney as they were interviewed on ABC News. Let's take a listen.
After a two-vehicle accident earlier this month led to multiple 911 calls and ultimately a struggle with one of the drivers, 62-year-old Johnny Holman. Police say Holman was at fault and was uncooperative once authorities arrived. They attempted to deploy a taser. Holman first became unresponsive and later was pronounced dead at the hospital. Joining us now is Johnny Holman's daughter, Anitra Hollman, and attorney Mawuli Davis. Anitra, first just want to extend our condolences. We are so sorry for your family's loss. We understand that there is a witness video from the scene that the family has viewed. Tell us what you believe happened that night before and after the confrontation with police.
I believe whatever happened, they killed my daddy. And that's what I've been saying since the thing. My dad called me. The last time he called me was at 11:57. When he called me at 11:57, he called out twice. And he said, baby. He had the phone placed on speaker. I proceeded to hear him asking the officer, why are you doing me like this? You know, you're going to treat an old man like me like this, you know. And then the officer was very aggressive and outraged as he was going back and forth with my dad. My dad was begging. And my daddy, I heard him after that saying, I can't breathe. He asked for help 3 times. He was like, somebody help me, please. And after that, I didn't hear my daddy say anything. When I got to the scene, my daddy was already dead.
What were you saying during that conversation with your dad?
It was like I was on speaker, so he wasn't like the phone was physically to his ear. I could just hear him, you know, back and forth, you know, asking for help, saying he couldn't breathe. But physically, I wasn't like, he wasn't holding the phone. He had the phone. When I retrieved the phone was on the truck and it was still going. I could hear like the radio, I could hear the officer, I could hear like, when the sirens and stuff was coming, I could hear all of those things. When I got to the scene, I was very irate. I was like, y'all killed my daddy, and I heard it. I was like, my daddy asked you several times to help him. He was telling you he couldn't breathe. He kept saying it over and over. My dad has chronic asthma, and he's had it ever since he was a child. If he tells you he can't breathe, you have to stop whatever you're doing, and you have to see about him right then.
Mawuli, what are authorities in Georgia saying about the body camera footage from this incident? Does it exist? When do you expect that footage will be released?
It's our hope that we'll have that body camera footage released this week. We have a meeting with the city tomorrow to begin discussing their disclosure of all of the evidence that they have so that this family can have answers. And that's the biggest thing. What Arnitra was able to hear versus what is being said don't fit. And the bottom line is we just have to have access to that video in order to have a better sense of what happened. Obviously, it should not have happened. This was a simple traffic accident. You should be able to go home after a traffic accident. You should not die out in an Atlanta street because you're in a collision and police are too aggressive.
Protests against the Atlanta police are planned for later this week. The autopsy is still being conducted. From your perspective as an attorney, are investigators in this use of force case being transparent about what happened that night? You're saying that something doesn't fit. I'm curious what you think is the departure from what they're saying happened and what actually happened.
The issue is there is no basis to arrest a 62-year-old man who's around the corner from his home. Again, there is discretion. Even if the officer felt like he was at fault, there's no reason to try to handcuff him. And then they tased this. He's a deacon at a church and they're tasing him. And he's just trying to, again, call out for help. And so, I know the community is outraged about this and that there will be a protest on Thursday. And the family and all of the people who loved him deeply will be there to show their support and demand justice for him.
Arnitra, as we just heard, your father was a deacon at his church, a grandfather to 26 children. For those of us who never had the opportunity to meet your dad, give us a sense of what he was like.
My daddy was my best friend. Like, I miss him so much. Like, he did everything for us. And my dad always stayed in our lives. Like, he kept all 5 of his kids together. He loved his grandchildren. He loved his great-grandchildren. They was like his joy. My daddy, he had so many people in the community that love him. It's so many babies that have been crying and crying out. Our kids are crying out. They just don't know where to go because, like, our daddy was our rock. Like, that's what we depended on. That's who we looked up to. Like, my daddy was my hero, and I was a daddy's girl. Of course, I'm the oldest. So now I'm left brokenhearted.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, we extend our condolences. We thank you both so much for talking with us. We will continue to do so in the coming weeks and months ahead. Thank you again for your time, Arnitra and Mawuli.
That is ABC News, and like I said, that was Arnitra, Mr. Hollman's, Deacon Hollman's oldest daughter, eldest child, that alongside her attorney. Will, if you could cue up that Atlanta Community Press Collective clip. I was trying to find clips from the actual protest. I was actually having some difficulty doing so, but there was a number of rallies in advance of what occurred in front of the Atlanta Police Department on Thursday. Again, Kamal was telling us about this on the Remix Morning Show Thursday. That Thursday night was the action that they had planned. And, I consider the Atlanta Community Press Collective a reliable source in Atlanta. They were the ones who initially got their hands on, I believe it was the medical examiner's report of Tortuguita's assassination. Tortuguita, we all know, was an Atlanta forest offender. He was murdered as part of a raid on the forest. And the Georgia Bureau of Investigation never released that body cam footage. They act like they ain't had shit, lying asses. And I am not sure if Deacon Hollman's family is going to get the body cam in a timely manner, or if at all, from this incident. because the cops are invested in protecting themselves. They know the heat is on them in Atlanta for stopping Cop City, right? Like, our comrades in Atlanta have done a bang up job of educating the public, of organizing the public, of taking all means and methods of actions to prevent the construction of Cop City. And the people of Atlanta are engaged. And I think the folks of Atlanta are focused on police conduct, perhaps in a way that they may not have been before, right? More kinds of people, right? Not just black folks, right? Well, and even black folks who may have been disengaged from the whole law enforcement process, right? There's a lot of black folks that just be like, "Oh, well, the police got to do what they got to do. They got a job to do." Nah, fuck that shit. This ain't their job. Oh, I guess it is their job to murder 62-year-old men for a traffic stop. Oh, I'm sorry, not just murdering an elder, but murdering a disabled elder. Deacon Hollman had asthma. His daughter said chronic asthma. It does not sound as though the officer, who has been identified by the Atlanta Community Press Collective, they've identified him, the officer, the Atlanta police officer. His name is Kyran, Kiran. How do you pronounce that? Kyran Kimbrough. Kyran Kimbrough has been identified as the officer that murdered 62-year-old Deacon Johnny Holman. And the Atlanta Community Press Collective was on the scene this week and in the previous days for rallies in support of not only the family, but trying to get some accountability from this rotten fucking ass system. So I want us to take a look at these rally scenes, because I prefer to hear from the people on the streets, not just the family, but the community leaders and organizers and regular folks that come out to support when someone has been stolen from their family, stolen from the community, particularly from taxpayer-funded gang law enforcement, right? So let's check out this clip from the Atlanta Community Press Collective.
What they would want us to do is to keep our oppression in silos. That's right. But when we open up those containers and open ourselves up to each other, then it becomes clear that this oppression that we are experiencing is impacting all of our lives.
Are we going to continue to pretend that this is a training issue? This is not a training issue. We have an issue of racism. We have an issue of capitalism. We have an issue of people seeing our lives as disposable.
If they see you as part of a movement they want to crush and destroy, they will use whatever they can, and they have.
The prayer that this family had was that there would be people that would stand with them. Who else to stand with them but the folks that have been doing the work over all of these years? But their voices are being minimized. Their voices are being written off as the radicals. That's the irony of it. They're trying to stop terror, but they're being dubbed as terrorists.
My daddy shouldn't have died like that. How do you die on a minor traffic incident? I'm having to deal with this pain every single day, me and my siblings.
Not even the president can shoot somebody and already know in his mind he's going to get away with it. They want us to fear them so bad we don't question nothing. That era is over. That's right. And everybody here at home, not just in Atlanta, y'all need to meet us next Thursday, August 24th at 5 p.m., 226 Peachtree Street Southwest. Next Thursday, APD headquarters. Meet us there, beat us there, have signs, be ready to speak your mind.
Powerful scenes per usual coming out of Atlanta in rallies to support the family of Johnny Holman, and in some attempts to get whatever accountability looks like, y'all. I don't know what accountability looks like, because no matter what, let's say if this officer Kieran Kimbrough is actually charged with anything substantial, a conviction is not promised nor guaranteed, and even if he does get convicted, that doesn't bring Anitra's daddy home. That doesn't bring granddad home to his 26 grandchildren. I mean, just think about what a loss that is. This man had 5 kids, 26 grandkids, and I don't know how many great grandkids. And for him to be gone in an instant, just like that, and at the hands of Atlanta police, no less, right? And again, him being disabled is very relevant here. Because as we talk about this on this program and on this platform, not all disabilities are visible. You can't always look at somebody and tell whether or not they're able or disabled, right? Not all disabilities can be seen. And the absolute callousness, the absolute indifference to life that Atlanta police officer showed, not only in tasing an old man, but failing to render aid. Now, I want us to show the video. I'm going to show the video. Will, if you could please get that next clip queued up, because this was actually, I believe, posted by the law firm that has been retained by Mr. Hollman's family, Davis Bozeman Johnson Law. And it's graphic enough just because we know what it is. I mean, to the extent that you can tell what's happening. You can tell what's happening because Mr. Hollman's children are narrating basically what happened. But again, I'm showing this because you'll hear in the brief interview between one of the attorneys and Mr. Hollman's son that the family wants people to see this. The family wants people to see this. And maybe you've already seen this circulating around social media. And I think it was actually included in some of these mainstream media clips, small snippets of it. But I want you guys to see this again, because the family wants you to see it. Will, if you could please.
Johnny Holman Jr., you shot the video when you arrived on the scene. You saw your father on the ground with people pumping on his chest. Why do you want to release this video to the public?
Because I want him to see how unjustly my father was treated over a car accident. And it hurt me so bad that I had to deal with it for the rest of my life. And not only that, when I hear my dad's name just being like dead, it hurt me because I'm a junior. That's right. And the police were wrong. And the world do need to see that.
Officer, I heard my daddy. He said,
I can't believe it, man.
I got to record it.
Y'all got my daddy
I got it.
on the ground
Got it.
like
Got
this.
it. Don't do it. No,
Y'all got my daddy on the ground like this.
daddy.
I got to record this. I got to record this.
I heard him.
Y'all
That's
got
why
my
I'm
daddy.
recording it. I heard my daddy asking him, begging him,
And y'all
begging him.
police
I heard it.
got my
I heard
daddy
it.
on the
Ain't nothing
ground
they
like
can tell me.
this.
Ain't nothing.
I really hate that people who have experienced a trauma have to now all of a sudden become activists. Like, I really hate that for our folks. I hate that in the worst way. And of course, there are people already on the ground there in Atlanta who are willing to ride for the Hollmans and willing to ride for some sort of accountability for their dad. But I hate that Sister Anitra all of a sudden, like now she has to become media savvy. You feel what I'm saying? Like now she has to be prepared to not only grieve her father, who, by the way, will be laid to rest this weekend in Atlanta. She not only has to prepare for his homegoing, but she has to be committed to keeping his name out there, to keeping the issue out there because the news cycle and the media cycle is such that don't let nobody get killed by police over the weekend. You understand? Because people will be like, what happened? What happened in Atlanta? And it even took a little bit for this story to percolate out more. Kamal talked about it on the morning show. He said the city of Atlanta and the mayor's office are trying to ignore this story. Mayor Andre Dickens actually did release a statement saying that he's going to wait for the investigation. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation is on the case and he's going to wait for the investigation. He released a statement. He didn't get out there and speak his fucking face into a microphone and say any of this shit. Because clearly he's soft as scrotum skin. You know what I'm saying? He does not want Rev Kiana to get in his shit very clearly, right? And amongst others, yes? And the cowardice of the elected political class of Atlanta, which happens to be majority black, even though they are backed by white corporate dollars and the Atlanta Police Foundation and the like the cowardice of these people. Like, how dare you? How dare you call yourself black and representing any corner of that black ass city, right? And you don't have nothing to say to the people, to the family, to the survivor? Like, you don't have nothing to say in person? You just want to release statements? Next week, as you heard the attorney say, that they hope that body cam footage will be released. And I want to say, I am not certain that that's going to be a thing because it is not in the police's interest to be transparent in this regard. Had Mr. Hollman been, I suppose, some young perceived knucklehead, right? I mean, because you know how young black men are just viewed as criminals anyway, right? When they could be they could be academics, they could be, you know, art, they could be anything. But because young black and dreads with young black and with locks, or young black and baggy jeans or whatever, they automatically get stereotyped and pigeonholed as to being bad people, right? But how are you going to explain the murder of an elderly deacon of a church who was literally leaving Bible study? And I have a feeling that Officer Kimbrough, per Anitra, the daughter, per her description, per her audio witnessing, right? I have a feeling that this white cop, I'm assuming he's white. I don't know that he's white. Because there's white and black Kimbroughs, yeah? Regardless. It don't even fucking matter, really, if the cop was white or black. The way that I'm sure how crazy this cop must have been talking to this old man. Atlanta police, Atlanta City Council, Atlanta mayor, they know that some shit might get flipped over and burned in Atlanta when they release that tape. Because ain't no fucking way that this cop was in fear for his life or even in fear of being in danger or potentially harmed by Deacon Hollman in any way, right? Do you think an elder with asthma is going to try to confront physically a cop? I doubt it. The fact that the police narrative is already that Mr. Hollman was uncooperative. What the fuck does that even mean? What does uncooperative mean? Like, I need specifics. Because if he was uncooperative, he would have left the scene, right? like that's what an uncooperative person does in a fender bender when they are allegedly at fault. If I'm uncooperative, I'm rolling the fuck out. What do you think? Like, what are we supposed to believe from this take from Atlanta police? What, you think that this man muscled up on this cop? Is that what we're to believe? What is the reason that Mr. Hollman was being detained? Why was he being placed in the handcuffs? Why was he tased? Did he raise his voice? Did he get loud? Because we've gone over this on this program, you all. You know that Negroes are not allowed to get loud with white folks in public. That's against the rules. White people fear for their life, especially police. Negroes would raise voices. is enough to scare white folks, apparently, to scare them into using deadly force. Isn't that amazing? And I just want you guys to compare, if you could, this case with 62-year-old Johnny Holman, whom, by all accounts, does not seem to have broken any laws, and it's not even being reported that he assaulted or physically attempted to touch or harm this cop in any way. He ends up dead. And compare that to Craig Robertson out there, 75 years old in Utah, who was armed to the teeth, openly threatening political assassination of both the president of the United States, the vice president of the United States, and other high-ranking officials in the government, right? And the only reason they blamed on him is because I can only assume he was carrying that thing, right? But they had already visited him twice before, never made him give up his guns, never came at him with any sort of aggression or threats of, locking him up, to my knowledge anyway, right? And just look at what 75-year-old Craig Robertson had to do to get killed by police versus what Mr. Hollman is alleged to have done, which, again, I don't know what the fuck he did. It doesn't sound like he did anything deserving of a taser or even deserving of being detained. So we'll see how this ends up playing out, okay? Expect way more actions, way more protests. This ties directly into Cop City because, like the sister said in the video, this isn't a training issue. Who's going to, like she said, we collectively are not going to continue to pretend this is a training issue. This is not a training deficit. This is actually exactly how they are trained. They are trained to maintain control by any means necessary. If that means using force against old people or young people, trying to remain in firm control of the situation, they will do exactly that. Officer Kimbrough, by the way, I believe is on paid administrative leave, aka paid vacation, because that's what lynchers get when they add another body to their count, right? They get paid vacation. Let me take a quick break because this next one is a doozy too. Hold on. Who we got in here? Hold on, let me go to the chat. Thanks everybody for coming out. Please do me a favor, like the video. Hey gang, I have a little goal here. By the way, if you also want to support the channel with material support, I'm talking to you, Richie Riches. I don't think we have any wealthy people that watch this. I don't think we have any wealthy people that watch this channel. If we do, y'all ought to be ashamed of yourselves because y'all are very, very, very lax with your support. But we have had some people drop us it's happened like a few times throughout the history of the channel, but somebody will drop us like a few $100s at once. We haven't had that in a while. So if you are that person, tell me are that somebody? Are you really not somebody? Drop us some bread, man. $, Cash App, $, BIDWKB, Venmo at BIDWKB, PayPal.me/BIDWKB. I thank everybody who has turned out, and ran the channel some material support. Thank you all so much for that. What's up, Latif? Glad to see you in here. ¿Quiénes todos? Todo mi gente. Estamos aquí. ¿Qué pasa? What's up, y'all? What's up, Damien? What's up, Stoner Loner? There go my niece Alicia. Glad to see it. Feminist News Network. Always good to see you in the building. Love to see y'all in here. Dara say what's up to Holly and Nola. Yeah, of course I did. And Wendy, because I think Holly and Wendy are the same people and they nice. and they come in as two different people, which is wonderful. Adding to my numbers, thank you very much. If you have multiple computers at your disposal, I encourage you to do that. What's up, Silberg? What's popping? Yeah, like the shit. Anyway, so I'm at like 3,800 subscribers on this channel. Our anniversary, when do we celebrate our anniversary? I know it says on the About section of the channel that we joined YouTube October 2020, but I don't think the show actually officially was under our control. December, I'm gonna guess. So anyway, I'd like to make it to 4,000 subscribers by December. Now I know all y'all already subscribe, and I guess I'm just sharing this information because I mean I could be like, tell a friend to tell a friend, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, do what you can to spread the word, you know. Maybe I'll start begging on Black Power Media. I haven't begged in a while for people to come subscribe to the channel on BPM, but I'm gonna do that next week. I'm gonna go on a begging tour. So anyway, appreciate y'all support, everything y'all can do for the channel, please and thank you. Look at that. Who is that? AR. See? Yo, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you. Is that my man Arenando? AR. Thank you so much. That's what I'm talking about. See? If you beg it, they will come. If you start begging, damn, I need to be begging more often. Is that what it is? Who just ran us something? Oh shit, Emily. Hey, our Canadian sister. What's up, Emily? Oh, and she gifted a one Burn It Down with Kim Brown channel membership. Thank you so much for that support, Emily. I appreciate your support. You've been running us them good Canadian loonies and toonies, and I'm with it. I don't know. You don't have to answer. I was going to ask you what province are you in, because I would like I would like to get some Canadian poutine. I have not had some poutine in a while, and I don't want no poutine in America. Some shit I just don't want America. What's up, Nat? How's it going? Shout out to Kane. What's up, Kane? The baby dog, and Nat, he's mama. I would like some poutine. Who has the oh wait, y'all running money. Oh, Franny, you are such a sweetheart per always. I'm telling you, Franny, if you need an alibi ever, you call me. I got you. Franny was with me. I don't know, but officer, Franny was right here the whole time. Franny wasn't even nowhere near where y'all think Franny was. She wasn't. She was right here with me. Because Franny is my sis. Thank you, baby girl. Thank you. Hold on. You guys know I have to do this my way. Who just ran us some $10? I appreciate that. Oh, Feminist News Network. Thank you so much. Oh, you said I give good news. Oh, like you on BPM too. Oh, thank you so much, Feminist News Network. Thank you so much for supporting both platforms. We love that. I love that there's overlap, you know what I'm saying, between the Fire Fam and BPM. You know what I'm saying? I have to get caught up on EYL. I missed EYL today. You know, I'm very disappointed in the EYL brethren. Very disappointed that they are not at Invest Fest giving them bougie niggas the blues. Like, why not? Y'all supposed to be down anyway. I yelled at Jared enough. And I apologize to Jared. I gave him the real apology and the fake apology, because I was apologizing. I'm sorry for my bad for yelling, but I needed to yell, because sometimes that's the only way I can get my point across. Donnie, you are the greatest, baby girl. Thank you so much, Donnie, for all your support. You guys, just so y'all know for record, see my flame lamp back there. That was a Christmas gift from Donnie, like the first year. So Donnie has been an OG of OGs round this way. So thank you all so much for your support, you guys. I appreciate it, y'all. I just be begging sometimes, you know, because we be poor. Don't blame me, blame capitalism. I didn't do it. Hold on. We got one more super chat coming in here. Thank you all for your super chats. We appreciate the super chats too. The super chats are more than acceptable. Who was that? Gangsta what? Gangsta Thumb. I'll take it. Thank you, Gangsta Thumb. I love it. Yeah. Okay, come on through. So this next story is wild, y'all, because I saw the shit. Y'all know where I first saw this story at. On NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt. Because you know what do I do? I hate watch NBC News. You got that right. I can't stomach MSNBC. That's a bridge too far. I can't do that. But NBC Nightly News, 30 minutes of mainstream bullshit news. Yeah, I can do that from my little media critique, and so I can throw shit at the TV. If I watched MSNBC and CNN, I'd be throwing shit at the TV all the time. And guess what? I like my TV. I don't want to hurt it. My TV is cool. My TV is perfectly fine. My TV didn't do nothing to me. Alfred, thank you so much for your thank you. Afra said she got 5 on it. Very, very much appreciated. Thank you so much for that, Afra. Let me get to this story, y'all. Because I saw this shit, like I said, on NBC News with Lester Holt, and it didn't sound right. And usually when the shit don't sound right, it's probably some nonsense, some foolery, some mainstream media propaganda manipulation shenanigans attached to it. And I was right. So, this week in Pittsburgh's Garfield neighborhood, we got any Pittsburghians? What do we call people from Pittsburgh? Any Pittsburghites? Any Pittsburghers? What do we call people from Pittsburgh? No disrespect, I just don't know. But shout out to everybody from Pittsburgh, especially shout out to the whole Garfield neighborhood, right? There was a shooting in which a 62-year-old man was killed. And several deputies, I believe they were from Allegheny County, if I'm not mistaken, they were injured. Northern Witch DD, thank you so much, baby, for your support. Thank you so much for your super chat support and all of your support, D. You are wonderful. I want us to take to the clips because I've got several clips here. And let me give content warnings. Again, we don't see the actual killing of this man, but there was a lot of gunshots, y'all. The choppers was singing every which way on Broad Street in Garfield in Pittsburgh on that day. So the content warning, especially if you were a bit sensitive to sound, especially sensitive or may have some PTSD associated with the sound of gunshots, there's going to be a lot of gunshots being heard in these upcoming clips. I'm going to come through and credit these people after the fact. But the first clip we're going to see are the volley of automatic and semi-automatic gunfire being shot from the law enforcement into a home on Broad Street, I believe. The next clip we're going to see is going to come from WTAE television, where we are going to hear from the son of the victim's name is William Hutchinson, Bill Hutchinson. And Mr. Hutchinson has been described as a Moorish sovereign citizen. I don't know much, if anything, about Moorish sovereign citizens. When judging from some of the packages I was watching, they kind of sound like more about it Hebrew Israelites, right? Now, the Hebrew Israelites, the only thing I really know about them, I believe they believe that they's the original Jewish people or the original Israelites. I don't know. I'm not going to speak out of turn because I don't, and I'm not familiar with these particular disciplines and what their belief systems are. But what I do know is that these folks believe that the state does not have any say, any control, any authority over their lives. Now, that is a philosophy that I generally agree with, right? Even when the whites do it, even when the fucking Bundys do it out on the Bundy Ranch and they was blamming on the fucking, feds and shit, tell them to get the fuck off their land, even though it wasn't their fucking land. Isn't that something? But it's a spirit I generally support, really, from anybody. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it's coming from indigenous people who know that they are still sovereign nations, right? So anybody that wants to assert their autonomy absent of the U.S. government, I generally support that shit, right? Even though I don't know the particulars of their beliefs, so let me not co-sign, because again, I don't know, but what I do know is like, all right, cool. Y'all say the state don't have authority over you. Yeah, I support that. Cool. So again, the second package is going to be the second clip that you're going to see is the reporter from WTAE on speakerphone with Mr. Hutchinson's son, asking him to please stand down and surrender. He did not. And then the final clip we're going to see is that we're going to hear from Pittsburgh's mayor, who's a youngish black dude, but who said that he actually was a friend of the family. He didn't know the victim directly, but he knew people related to him. And you could tell that this mayor seemingly was affected by the murder of this elder. And then we're going to get into why this man was killed, why he was mislabeled as a squatter in his family home, and why the police came in knowing that he likely was armed, he likely was about this action, and the disregard that the police showed for the neighborhood and for the people in proximity of all of this when they decided to take this heavy-handed action to go in blamming for an eviction. Absolute craziness. So anyway, content warning for gunshots, content warning, trigger warnings. Let's hit it, Will.
Andrew, we spoke to the son of William Hardison, whose name is also William Hardison. He is a truck driver based in Atlanta. We spoke to him while he was on the road. He was in Ohio, and he and his family have been trying all day to try to get a hold of his father and beg him to come out. And he talked to us in the hopes that his father would hear this message.
Hey, Dad, please surrender. Please give up. You have children and grandchildren. I love you dearly. Please stand down.
What's he like as a person?
He's a great. He's a very stern individual. You know, he's a man's man. You know what I mean? But he stands on what he believes in, and when he believes in something, he's gonna fight tooth and nail about it. You know, but he's a great person outside of that. You know what I mean? So.
Now, based on what we were talking about earlier, does he believe that this house rightfully belongs to him?
Yes, very much so.
Why is that?
Because my uncle, you know, my uncle passed away. You know what I mean? And he, like I said, he only had a few more years left to pay on the house. You know what I mean? So why would they sell it to someone for $25,000 when hundreds of thousands of dollars have been put into that house? You know what I mean? They just redid the house. They just remodeled the house in the process of him passing away.
And as you could hear from the son, this house has been the subject of a series of transactions involving family members, which led to the eviction. Basically, the house was owned by William Hardison's brother. He died last year, and then his father took over possession of the house under terms of the will, and then the father sold the house to a local real estate company, and they are the ones who began the eviction proceedings because they claim William Hardison was squatting here and he had not paid rent for 5 months and he had no legitimate right to the house. And the eviction was to take place this morning at 10:30, and that is when the confrontation began with police. But as the son said, the father believed that the house was rightfully his. Reporting live in Garfield, Paul Van Osdol, Pittsburgh's Action News 4.
Up to everybody. I do know members of his family. A lot of his family members I grew up with. So I do know members of the family. I do not know him. I have spoken to the family today, the ones that I know, offered my condolence and had a conversation with them. We grew up together. And again, I just want to say condolence to the family. We've also had the opportunity to search our 311 to see if there was any other regards of upcoming information from him. None of it came about a meeting with me. And you know that I meet with a lot of people, but he was never on the list to meet with. I wish there would have been. Maybe we could have got a different result. I would also
a very stark scene there in Pittsburgh. Guys, I don't know much about Pittsburgh. I've only been there once. I know that, like most cities, it's going through a gentrification of its black neighborhoods. I can imagine that the Garfield neighborhood is probably part of that. And there have been a lot of predatory methods enacted against longtime Black residents of Black neighborhoods in cities all across this country, right? And sometimes these companies are very insidious. They are harassing to a certain extent. I live in what I consider to be a gentrifying part of Prince George's County. And the number of mail solicitations that I get, and I'm gonna name the companies from Market Pro Home Buyers, Express Home Buyers, we buy your house in 7 days. Like, they are targeting Black and brown communities for these quick home sales to get you to fuck up out the house. They'll buy the house as is. The house need a new roof, house falling down. They don't give a shit. They'll write the check. Get your Black ass up out of here. We're gonna fix this shit up and sell it at $150,000 more to some white folks, maybe more than that. If we talking about DC, right? Afra, am I right? If we talk about Brooklyn, New York, am I right? Like, they are trying to get Black folks fuck up out of these cities no matter what. And I'm not here to assume that whatever method or basically whatever the real estate company or the Allegheny Police Department, Allegheny County deputies, sheriff's deputies got to say that this man was squatting. How the fuck was he squatting in his brother's house? According to the Sun, that they just spent thousands of dollars of renovations on. Like, something's not adding up here. Something's not making sense. And the fact that the police knew, because there was at least one police encounter that I was able to find on TikTok. The quality wasn't that good, so I didn't include it in my clips. But this brother, Mr. Hardison, my apologies. I was saying I misspoke on his name. William Bill Hardison. It is pouring down rain here. Mr. Hardison had previous encounters with police where he let them know that I'm a Moorish sovereign citizen, and he started waving the Moroccan flag. Now, again, I'm ignorant to the philosophies of the Moorish sovereign citizens, but he was very clearly not with the shits. Like, his son even said, you heard the son when asked, how would you describe your father? He almost started to say he was a good guy, but then he changed it and said he was a very stern man. We could read between the lines. Bill Hardison did not play that dumb shit very clearly, right? We could tell. And that initial clip with the volley of bullets, y'all, they said thousands of rounds. I found packages, and I didn't want to take all of WTAE's reporting. And I will say they seemingly covered it pretty well. But it was Black women in particular being evacuated from the neighborhood, right? They said that there were bullets flying into their houses. This one woman was praising God, saying, but for the grace of God, that bullet came whizzing by my head. Why would police go in heavy-handed into a residential area at 10:30 in the morning to try to evict a man that they likely knew that was armed, likely knew that he was willing to be confrontational with police? Did they want this shootout? Is this what they wanted to happen? Judging by their actions, possibly so. I want us to take a look at a package from a TikToker that I found, who is seemingly a resident of the Pittsburgh area. And I thought they actually did a very good job of describing what was going on. Hold on really quick. For our previous collage of clips, let me credit the clip of the mayor's press conference was shot by Paula Reed Ward, I believe, who is a reporter for Trib Live. Who is that other person? That middle clip. Kiera Gunderson shot the first clip of the gunfire exchange. So I just wanted to properly credit the journalists there and their work. So thank you for that. So I want us to take a look at this TikToker. His name is Nick Drum, DROM. And I thought he had a very interesting take. it's pretty nuanced and pretty descriptive regarding the practices of some of these quote real estate companies that behave in a predatory manner, particularly towards Black and brown residents of neighborhoods that these real estate companies would like to flip over to white. Will, let's take a look at that TikTok, please.
As I record this, we're currently over 5 hours into a standoff involving police and a man that they tried to evict in the Garfield neighborhood of Pittsburgh, just less than a mile from Children's Hospital. Law enforcement officers from the city, county, state, and federal agents, including the ATF and FBI, are on the scene, and there have been thousands of rounds of gunfire exchanged. The conflict began at 10:30 a.m. when sheriff deputies went to serve an eviction notice. Some neighbors were saying that they were given notice by the sheriff's office that this was going to happen, while other neighbors said that they were given no notice, despite the sheriff's office knowing that this man was armed and that this could become a conflict. Property records show that the suspect who's barricaded himself inside the home is a relative to the former owner of the property. You can see that earlier this year, the property was sold to 907 East Street LLC. That LLC's address is tied to the address of Penn Pioneer Enterprises. Their website says that they are a real estate wholesaler located in Trafford in the suburbs of Pittsburgh. If you aren't familiar with the predatory nature of real estate wholesaling, they are the people that are sending out millions of texts to homeowners all over the country saying that they buy property, any property, and they're mostly looking for distressed property or property that's underwater. Almost all of the companies that operate in this space violate FTC laws around text-based communication. They often target low-income neighborhoods where residents are more likely to be in trouble with their mortgage. Interestingly, when you search Penn Pioneer, one of the only articles that come up is an article about sheriff sales, where one buyer discussed that it's uncomfortable evicting people. A representative from Penn Pioneer proudly states that he enjoys the work that he does. I wanted to discuss this issue because I lived in the apartment downstairs from where a similar eviction went awry and there was a similar standoff less than a mile from where this one's happened. In that instance, it was a sister evicting her brother so she could sell the property. The brother refused to leave and made threats to the sheriffs, which began a several-hour standoff where sheriff's deputies shot hundreds of rounds of chemical munitions into the apartment. I received no prior notice that the sheriff's office was going to try again to enforce his eviction, even though they had been there multiple times and he had made threats prior. I actually wasn't even contacted by law enforcement to see if I was home until after they started firing chemical munitions. Fortunately, I was not home, but the fact that I was a second thought to the SWAT team after they started to engage with weapons certainly left me concerned. It made me feel that law enforcement was so eager to violently engage, the health and safety and well-being of surrounding residents was disregarded. I also experienced another instance where the same SWAT team responded to a barricaded individual. Officers set up sniper stations on neighbors' porches without notifying the residents of those homes they were preparing to engage in a gunfight. Many outlets are reporting this as an eviction standoff or a squatter standoff. But this whole event, encompassing the thousands of rounds of gunfire exchanged, demonstrates that this event is tied to much bigger, more complicated systemic issues in our society. Many issues that legislators are currently doing nothing to relieve, making it so horrible events like this are only more likely to happen. A reasonable person might ask why there are not more intermediate steps in an eviction like this, possibly involving mental health professionals and social workers. And why there's not more action taken on the side of law enforcement officers when they are creating dangerous situations that could impact neighbors. I understand policing is very hard work and understand that in situations like this, things move very fast. But I believe that if we are going to put officer safety as a priority in these situations, we should also consider the safety of the neighbors.
The problem is that under capitalism, the police are there to protect the property owners, right? The police are there to enforce the will of those that own shit, right? In our society. It is not in the interest of a capitalist system to try to make sure that the working people or the people that are at most risk of becoming unhoused for a variety of reasons, they don't care about trying to mitigate those people's circumstances. They're there at the behest of the capitalists to make sure that as much can be extracted from someone living in this property as quickly as possible, as much as possible, as immediately as possible. Okay? This is why this system is falling down. And this is why we have to make sure that we have to help it to fall down. Okay? We have to push it down. If capitalism is teetering If the whole American system is unbalanced and looking like it might fall, well, it's our job to help push it down. And I feel as though Mr. Hardison, in his own way, was probably trying to do that. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, I can't come on here and say that I endorse whatever the fuck. Y'all can probably deduce how I feel. I don't have to say it, right? Like if the police blamed on him, what's he supposed to do? Not blame? You feel me? So I can understand why he took the position that he did. I feel sorry for his children, for his grandchildren, that they are now without their loved one. But I can understand why this man decided to take a stand in that way. Okay, let me clean it up. I may not agree, but I understand. So to the TikToker's point, shout out to Nick. I actually appreciated that package when he talked about, shouldn't we have some steps in place to try to make sure that these processes are done a lot better. There's nobody should be unhoused in this country. America, allegedly the richest country in the world. Why do we have literally hundreds of thousands of people not only living on the streets, but living in encampments? Like, it's not like homelessness is not simply an urban problem, right? You go into the rural areas, suburban areas. In my hometown where I grew up, in Laurel, Maryland, y'all, Laurel, as suburban as it fucking gets. It ain't quite the tree-lined streets of Columbia, but it's right there. Okay. There's a place near the racetrack. Laurel Racetrack is actually pretty world famous. Well, it used to be. It's fallen down now, but by the river, I'm pretty sure it's the Patuxent River. Like, there's an encampment there that you can't see, but it's a lot of people living outside down by the river. We call them the river people. We've seen them. And it's mostly white folks. There's a lot of white folks out there. Like, the unhoused problem is a crisis in this country. We are in the second Gilded Age. The wealth gap, the income gap, all that shit is presenting itself in a maximum fashion. And I'm surprised we don't have more incidents exactly like this. But the police are there to help out the landlords, to secure the interests of the landlords, not of the people that are most at risk of going without shelter, right? And that is part of the reason why we have to help this system fall the fuck down. If we have to push it down, bring it down, whatever method is necessary, by any means necessary, it needs to occur. But to be clear, this incident clearly articulates and demonstrates why eviction is a form of police violence. Having sheriff's deputies, armed sheriff's deputies, to come to a person's house to forcefully put them out of their home is violence. Whether or not it escalates to that serious, what we saw in Garfield, whether or not it gets to that point or not, it's still a violence. Gentrification is violence. This system does nothing but enable violence, particularly against Black and brown people. And Mr. Hardison that day said no. His aim wasn't that good. He had a bunch of bullets. His aim was not that great. Read into that what you will. His aim was not all that great. But it was a stand that I personally, I'm not upset. I mean, I'm upset for the loss of his family, but I'm not horribly upset at what he did, to be honest. Well, if you could please pop up that article. So this piece coincidentally showed up in the Baltimore Beat. Big up to the editor-in-chief of the Baltimore Beat. Her name is Lisa Snowden. Lisa Snowden is a bad broad out here. We like Lisa very much. And this article is titled "The Lucrative Business of Rent Court." And it talks about the story of Curtis Jones. Curtis Jones' eviction hearing lasted less than 2 minutes. Like most, quote, rocket docket. Isn't that something they call rocket docket? Like most rocket docket hearings, where the judges process hundreds of filed evictions in about an hour and a half, Isn't that something? How do you process hundreds of evictions in an hour and a half or less? Interesting. Curtis Jones didn't even get a chance to speak. When his case was called, the landlord's hired agent took over. The agent explained that Mr. Jones agreed that he owed the money, right? That he owed the rent that I suppose was in arrears. And that he owed the money alleged due by the landlord. Okay, I'm sorry, I lost my place. And that Curtis was willing to waive his appeal rights in return. And also in return, Curtis Jones's landlord would wait 2 weeks before moving forward with the eviction process. The judge entered the judgment for the landlord, barely acknowledging Curtis Jones, before marking down that he would be evicted from his home sooner sooner than 2 weeks from that date. No sooner than 2 weeks from that day. And this is, like I said, this is from the Baltimore Beat, so we're talking about Maryland here. It goes on. It said, to the uninitiated, this could seem like a normal court proceeding that helped a tenant bargain for at least a few more weeks in his home. The reality, however, is that this was a, quote, deal that only helped out the landlord. And it was brokered by an agent whose job it was to get Jones out as fast as possible. In actuality, Curtis Jones said that he had a defense against his eviction. Earlier that year, his roof collapsed on him after his landlord had allegedly not kept up with repairs. He was injured as a result of his roof collapsing upon him. Threats to his life, health, or safety, a tenant can use as a defense against eviction filings, and even file their own defense and even file their own complaint for damages against the landlord. Curtis Jones had no idea that he could raise that as a defense. He also had made the agreement without knowing who he made the agreement with. Maryland law allows landlords to hire non-attorneys called agents to represent them in court without the landlord being present at all. The agent has commodified the eviction process, yes, and specialized in filing, representing, and executing eviction cases without the landlord even having to make an actual, without the landlord even having to actually communicate with the tenant. So these agents are getting paid, or roughly to the extent they're getting paid, but the landlord only has to pay these agents in Maryland Renters Court $100 per filing, right? Which is a very, according to the article, a very affordable way for these agents to quickly rack up lucrative fees while themselves not having to be familiar with rental law, with eviction law in the state of Maryland. And these people don't even have to be attorneys. And people are being put out of their homes at a breakneck speed in the state of Maryland. Let me drop this in the chat and you guys can check this out. But the point is, everybody, when we're talking about police violence, we're talking about the murder of a 62-year-old deacon in Atlanta after an innocent traffic stop. And again, we can go down the list of reasons that black folks end up dead at the hands of police that have nothing to do with them either committing crimes or doing anything wrong or putting the officer in danger or any of that. We know that none of that shit fucking matters. All you have to do is be black, right? Because why, everybody? What have we noticed? What do we observe about this American system of policing? Is that white folks don't get paid. That white folks do not get killed for these same reasons, right? Like white folks do not die like this in the same way, if at all, right? Like they don't. This does not happen to white people. So that's how you know this is some racist based shit. Yeah. What's up, Piper? Piper, did you hear me? I don't check Instagram. Piper, I'm gonna send you an Instagram message with my number so you can text me because I saw that you sent a message and girl, the way my ADHD is set up, I can't be looking at all this social media shit. I can only do my show and do Black Power Media. That's it. So I'm gonna holler at you. But thank you so much for being here. But you guys understand what I'm saying, though, right? So eviction is a violence. Gentrification is a violence, and yet this violence continues. And where are all our elected black misleadership? Where's the black misleadership of Baltimore? Where's the black misleadership of fucking Pittsburgh, of Atlanta? Like what is actually going on here? Like our people are being killed and pushed into death. Like unhousedness can result in reduced life expectancy. Yeah. If you don't know where you're going to lay your head, if you don't know where your next meal is coming from, that can contribute to stress upon your life and put you in a vulnerable situation that may not be easy to come out of. Okay. But I wanted to bring you guys that story for the simple fact that I knew when I saw that shit on NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt, I said it was some bullshit, dog. I said, no, I didn't. And they didn't even show the picture of Mr. Hardison. I didn't even know he was black. I had no idea he was black, but the story just did not sound right. I said, I got to look into this. I knew this shit didn't sound right. I knew it didn't sound right. So we want to send our condolences going out to the Hardison family of Garfield, of Pittsburgh. I'm so sorry that the police murdered your loved one because he was in his family home where he had every right, where he had every expectation to be. If for reasons that the home was no longer in the family name, you better believe capitalism and either white folks or fucking the black bourgeoisie was all behind it. You feel me? Like that was a class attack upon that man, upon his family, and a racial attack. And they knew he was with the shits. And they still came at him with violence. So they should have been fully expecting violence in return. I'm going to take a break. And then I'm going to get to my good shit. Oh, I'm going to let y'all go. No. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to take a quick break. All I'm going to say is just like the video. Like the video, subscribe, share, blah, blah, blah. Thanks to everybody that ran a super chats. Franny French said when she gets that money, she's going to break us off Friday. I appreciate it, girl. Don't go rob no bank or nothing, Frank. Well, you might be able to get away with it. So maybe go rob a couple banks. But I'm saying, we appreciate it, y'all. I know if y'all had money, y'all would send it. I mean, I'm talking about like real money, not your little money. And I'm not calling y'all broke either. I'm saying it's, I'm saying there's money. Come on, y'all. We live in America. There's money and then there's money, right? And I don't think anybody in here got money. And that's not a diss because I don't got money neither. You feel me? But I'm just saying, I just know. I know we are equally yoked. Y'all wouldn't be here. This is definitely not earn your leisure. You feel me? We ain't even pretending not to be broke around here. Anyway, let me get to the good shit, y'all. I mean, that was my previous stories were informative, and I brought them to you in the way that I did. But this shit right here, I would be remiss. Woo! I would be remiss. Will, throw him up there, Will. Throw him up there real quick, dog. Go on, put him up there. Hey, you ready? Go ahead, throw him up there, Will. Because y'all know what I got to talk about. I gotta talk about Trump, even if it's for a second, because the shit is fucking hilarious. Hey, to all the killers in the $100 billers, look at him stunting. Woo! For real niggas who ain't got no feelings. It got you stuck off the realness. We be the infamous, you heard of us. Official Queensbridge murderers. Look at him. Look at him, dog. Look at this man. Look, he got his wig right. Trump got his wig tight. His makeup artist hit him with the fresh contour. He got his concealer right. Look at him. Got his suit on. He said, y'all know who is what? Keeping it gangsta. Look at this man. Look at that thug. Look at this nigga. Thugged out. Orthopedic. Look at him. Look at Donnie. This is Donald Trump's mugshot, y'all. Donald Trump turned himself into a Fulton County jail late on Thursday. Blah, blah, blah. Now, Trump has already been to several courthouses because he is facing charges in New York, Florida, Washington, D.C., and all of those prosecutors had the good goddamn sense not to take no mugshot of Trump. Now, this chick down in Fulton County, Fawny Willis, whatever, she had that good goddamn sense. Now, she brought the RICO charges against Trump, whatever. You was not supposed to give him a mugshot. Here's the reason you're not supposed to give him a mugshot, because it is a picture that will live in American history in infamy, okay? And these liberal Democrats think that they doing something by making an example of Trump, that he's not above the law and the law applies to blah, blah, blah. You motherfuckers is high. Tell me, when has the law ever applied to wealthy white men? I'll wait. I will wait. And if you thought that making Trump sit for a mugshot was the way of holding him accountable and making sure that everybody's treated equally under the law, you motherfuckers ain't paying attention. You don't know who you talking about. Trump is a propaganda master. He sounds like a buffoon, and he is. Make no mistake about it. But if he is the head clown and he is preaching clownery, and all of his supporters themselves are clown minions, you know that he is going to utilize this to his advantage, which he has. This is what is on the landing page of donaldjtrump.com. And right under it are the donate buttons. The donate buttons. The donate buttons. Look at what they're doing. Look at this political prisoner. Look at what they're doing to this man. You guys know I'm being sarcastic, please. You know, even though I am tickled, I am so tickled about all of this shit. And listen, guys, part of me believes I might be going to hell. I might be going to hell and laughing at Trump. Oh, I can't help but to laugh at this shit and to like marvel at it in awe. Because, you guys, Trump is taking America down in front of us. I wish my granny was here to see it. I wish my granny was here to see it. Granny, are you in heaven watching this shit? This fucking demon, this cracker ass cracker is gonna incite the rest of the crackers to bring America down to its knees. You cannot prosecute the Imperial Grand Wizard. Come on now. But look at him, though. Look at him. I gotta say, that's a mean mug, yo. Like, I had to say, when I saw the picture, when I saw the mugshot, I was impressed. I said, that's a hell of a mugshot, man. As mugshots go, that's a hell of a mugshot. Will, do I have another mugshot there in the queue? Yes, I'm sorry. Not my mugshot, nigga. But anyway, hold on. So yeah, Trump had to turn himself in along with his 18 other co-defendants. Trump got granted that $200,000 bond. Mr. Trump cannot, make any threats or intimidate his witnesses or any co-defendants, blah, 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 blah. Trump ain't tripping. Give Trump a couple weeks. Trump gonna be talking shit about everybody. I meant to include, there was a collection of all of the defendants Oh, who's sending money? Oh, everybody's sending. Oh shit! Hold on, y'all. Give me a second. Hold on. Let me get caught up.
You got this scary looking lady. That's about it.
Okay, put her up there. Put her up there, Will. Because this is the only black chick. I don't know if she's the only black person. Look at this silly bitch. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call her a bitch. That's wrong. Look at this silly chick. Look at this silly chick. She kind of look like Afra. She could be our cousin. Look at this bride. We ain't claiming her though. Look at this bride. She, I believe, is the only black woman to be indicted in this RICO. What happened? They repoed your vehicle. Everything was all good just a week ago. What's her name? Her last name is Cootie. What's it say on the doc? Will, hold on, I can't keep up with it. It's everything is everywhere. I got everything everywhere. But this is the lady who used to be Kanye West's publicist. So she stopped working for Ye and started working for MAGA. Now, an argument can absolutely be made that, this broad and MAGA, well, rather Kanye and MAGA, at this point in Kanye's career, all the same Bammers. All the same Bammers. My deepest apologies. I had her name. Well, look on the doc, because my doc is doing something silly. And I can't seem to put my hands on it with any ease. Her last name is Cootie, Kuti. I can't recall her first name. It starts with a T.
Trevin Cootie.
Okay, we'll take it. I'll allow it. That's her. Throw it back up there real quick, Will.
All right.
Because I'm bugging off the Joker grin.
That's a Smile promo. You've seen that movie Smile? They be scaring the shit out of people. Like, coming to theater soon.
Right. Oh my God. She is kind of scared. Like that's not a friendly smile, right?
What if she's trying to do like like when she goes to prison, she's trying to like scare everybody. Like an episode of Family Matters or something.
Like an episode of Family Matters. If you don't get your young ass off my goddamn.
My bad.
Get your young ass out of here.
Continue with the show.
Get your young ass out of here. It's like I used to watch Family Matters too. Let me stop bombing on Will. But yeah, that's Trayanne. I'm fucking her name up on purpose. I don't care. She down with Trump. I don't need to get her name right. Out of all of the defendants, part of this RICO trial in Fulton County, soon to be RICO trial, she was the only one that was smiling in her mugshot, which I find hilarious. So anyway, yeah, Trump is giving y'all the Queensbridge. The Queensbridge, that's not Queensbridge. Where I know he's from Queens. What part of Queens is Trump from? It don't matter. He from Queens, right? So he giving y'all that Queens mug. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure all the rappers. I'm sure pop up Trump's joint again. Will, let me tell you, how quick is that going to be another some rappers cover of a single or an album? Like someone is going to replicate that, right? Or just use it outright would be my guess. Yes. Who is this? Don't lecture me, infinite content. Hold on. Let me find out who is in here talking crazy. Hold on. But let me tell y'all who is really talking crazy. Hold on, infinite content. I'm coming to you. We'll cue up that Jamal Bowman clip if you could. Because I'm trying to explain to liberal Democrats, like, this ain't what y'all think it is. Like, every single time when there was an opportunity to, quote, get Trump, you got to point to time. You have to show me when he's gotten got. When has he gotten got? When he was impeached 2 times? When he was thieving from Trump University students? When he was like, Trump is a giant scammer who is basically like the Pied Piper. You cannot get, they call him Teflon Don for a reason. And every single time that something pops up that the Democrats are like, oh, got him now. Nah, you don't got him. You don't got him. Every court appearance Trump has had to make, where has he been coming from? I'm sorry, did you say his resort? Did you say his private multi-million-dollar mansion where he shits on a gold toilet? That does not sound like a man that has been got to me. Don't. Oh, but this time, we got a mugshot now. Oh, this time he got. Will, if you could please run that fucking silly ass shit from who is where does Jamal Bowman represent, y'all? Is it Queens? What part of New York? Correct me in the chat. I'm gonna look for it. But New York City, y'all boy, Jamal Bowman, goofy ass. This was his reaction to the Trump mugshot and the recent charges that he's facing now in Fulton County, Georgia.
We got you. We got you. And more to come. Clown, thug, crook, criminal.
These fucking Democrats. Why are they such losers? Loser. Sir, you're a loser. Every Democrat that is taking a victory lap surrounding this mugshot, you're a fucking loser. Do you even understand? You haven't won shit. You haven't got shit. Trump ain't smelled the inside of a jail cell yet or ever. And if you think that he will, even if he does, he's still going to win. Because if he gets convicted and is actually sentenced to any jail, his supporters are going to wow the fuck out. And if you thought January 6th was something, they learned a lesson from January 6th. They learned that they better come blamming, okay? Like, I have a feeling that a lot of the January 6th insurrectionists, first of all, the reason why U.S. Capitol Police armed to the fucking teeth, the reason why U.S. Capitol Police did not open fire on those January 6th insurrectionists is because they knew how many guns was in that crowd. They knew how many guns was in that crowd, okay? And the Trump insurrectionists, what they know is that next time they got to come ready to blam. Okay. And I think they was ready to blam on January 6th, but they wasn't going to fire the first shot. Let Trump be in fucking jail. Let Trump be in fucking jail. You think a lot of these crazies, from that elderly man out in Utah to these teenage shooters to this fucking random bitch in Texas calling the judge and threatening him, you think they not going to try to break Trump the fuck out of jail? You think that? Do you think there won't be some inside assistance from some MAGA correctional officers or some members of law enforcement that will not put their president in jail? Like Jamal Bowman and the rest of these Democratic clowns, you guys don't even understand what the fuck is going on. And pop up the tweet if you could for me, Will. Because the Democrats think that they're going to fundraise off this shit too. Everybody trying to give money, and you know it. Put that mugshot up and show it. Throw it. Listen, Jamal Bowman ass right there trying to raise money. And it's like, sir, raise money for what? What the fuck are you as a congressman going to do about any of this? Congress has already shot they shot. You feel me? He's been twice impeached. What the fuck can Congress do? What will re-electing Jamal Bowman do to be a check against the re-rise of Donald Trump and his potential retaking of the White House? Nothing. The answer is absolutely fucking nothing. And to see these Democrats cheer this shit like y'all did something, y'all didn't do shit. Y'all have re-emboldened these MAGA motherfuckers. Y'all don't even know it. They are probably more dangerous now that they have seen their Führer, get a proper mugshot. That Fulton County prosecutor made a giant mistake. You made a big mistake in giving Trump this propaganda tool and having him have a mugshot. Giant mistake. Watch Trump's poll numbers go up again. told Tucker Carlson he was up by 70. He told Tucker he was up by 70. And you know what? You can take it down. Well, get that goofy ass nigga off my goddamn screen. And you know what? By the time the next set of polling comes around, he might be up by 70. Trump might have been a prophet. He might be a predicting. Please take Jamal Bowman down, sir. Please and thank you. I can't with these fucking goofy ass. Ain't you a member of the squad? What the fuck have you done, Jamal Bowman? Not a goddamn thing. The squad and their ilk, they want to rest their laurels on the fact that they tried to hold Trump accountable. Well, what the fuck? Trump was still chilling at all of his resort properties, flying private jets, shitting on a gold toilet, skipping in and out of jail, not being treated like everybody else in the criminal justice system. Like, what the fuck are we really talking about, man? Even if he loses, he wins. Because don't let Trump lose in 2024. Don't let him lose. These white folks gonna turn this mother out like an old Hammer video, man. We go, Hammer, you ain't hitting in New York. Y'all ain't old enough to remember that. Hammer, you ain't hitting in New York. What you gonna do? I'm gonna turn this mother out. That's what all the MAGA Trumpers is gonna do. If you thought January 6th was something, baby. And let me say this, and I say it jokey because the shit is fucking hilarious. Trump is taking America down, right? For us. He's doing it for us. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that nice? Thank you. Thank you, Trump and the MAGA supporters. Thank you very much for taking America the fuck down. We appreciate it. As the marginalized and as the downtrodden, as the oppressed of this country, we love to see it. I love to see America cannibalizing itself. These whites versus them whites. I'm for that all day. But the scary shit is, and I keep reiterating this, and I know I say it jokey, but I do mean it very seriously. Like, we do need to prepare ourselves for a Trump victory and what that means. And I know we have some wonderful, very peaceful-minded people in here. I get that, y'all. The problem is our enemies are not peaceful. Okay. Now I support Trump shenanigans to take America the fuck down. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, America's my enemy. Apparently, Trump is also America's enemy. So in these very specific instances, I am honestly rooting for Trump because I want to see America go down. And it'd be wonderful if America falls and, like, we didn't have to do anything. Like, we didn't have to fire a single shot. Right? Let the right-wing extremist whites let the whites work this out amongst themselves. But the problem is, whoever is victorious, whoever ends up being victorious amongst the whites is going to come cracking down on us even harder. And I don't know if it's going to be the Cop City Biden Democrats or is it going to be the extra rowdy Trump right wingers. Regardless, we need to be prepared. And I'm putting my chips on the Trumpers, to be honest. And those are the ones, well, they're both the ones. I can't say one's more dangerous than the other because that's absolutely not true. But my point is this, and I know people be like, well, we got to get an organization, which is true. I don't disagree with that. And just saying go get guns ain't enough. That is also true. But what I am saying is, don't not go get guns. Okay, like, don't not go get guns. And especially, I'm talking to y'all white folks because y'all can get them easier than black folks can get them. And I'm not trying to put no pressure. I'm not trying to make y'all feel bad or nothing. I'm just stating actual facts. You know what I'm saying? Like, munitions and the like are easier to be acquired with a white face and white credit. and it's important that you get it, even if you are a pacifist. Okay. One of my favorite movies, I think I've told you guys that I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan. And I think it was in The Two Towers. It was the sister who is the niece of the King of Rohan, right? And she was talking to Aragorn. She was practicing her sword play. And Aragorn was like, why are you practicing the sword? And she said, women of this country have long known those without swords can still die upon them. You may not believe in the gun. You may not subscribe to it. And I understand that. But the problem is our enemies do. Okay? Our enemies do. And once they can finish eliminating the enemies that they can recognize via our skin color, right? They're going to be coming after the gay and the trans whites. They've already made it clear. They're going to be coming after the disabled whites. They've already made it clear. Like the eugenics and the genocide of non-hetero Christian white folks has been well established. Now, y'all might be lower on the list after all the variations of darkies, after all the variations of darkies, the black darkies, the Indian darkies, the Hispanic darkies. Like, after they get done with the darkies, they coming to perfect the race, okay? And if you're white, gay, and trans, or white and disabled, you're fucking up the race per them. So even if you do not believe in swords, you can still die upon them. And this is important, you guys. Like, I can't predict when. I don't fucking know when. But with each subsequent day, this shit is getting realer and realer. And these Democrats think it's as simple as locking Trump up. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. They are not going to care. The MAGA supporters, people who support Trump, are not going to care if he's in jail, because they're going to try to get him out and they're going to try to kill his enemies. Okay? And us not being them makes us his enemy, and by extension, their enemy. So we need to be prepared, and we need to be taking these people very seriously. All of the terroristic threats, I kiki and laugh at the shit because it is fucking hilarious, because these crackers are nuts. Okay? But the historical context of these particular minded white folks tell me that they are very dangerous. Their grandparents were dangerous. Their great-grandparents were very dangerous. There's no reason we shouldn't think that they are not as dangerous. And we need to be willing to respond accordingly if and when the time comes. But I think it's not a matter of if. I definitely think it is a matter of when. So please chide harshly your friends and family that might be celebrating this Trump mugshot, and explain to them that this mugshot is going to be used more effectively by Trump to gin up more support for him. He is not disgraced by this at all. You think Trump is ashamed or embarrassed that he had a mugshot? No. It is going to be the most famous mugshot in history, and he knows it. And it's important that we know that as well. Let me say goodnight. Hold on, but some people have ran us some bucks. Some people have ran us some bucks. Some people ran us some bucks, some bucks. Some people ran us some bucks. Oh, wait, infinite content. Here come infinite content. He about to lecture me. What you say? Infinite content says, now Kim, Harrison, and Traylan. Okay. No, Traylon, that's her name. The black chick smiling, grinning like the fucking Joker in her mugshot. Know that their little white friends was doing. Yes, they knew what they was doing. Yes, they absolutely know what they was doing. It was two black folks caught up in that. That their former publicist, by the way. Yes, I know that's Kanye's former publicist. Isn't that wild? I can't believe that. Well, no, never mind. I can't believe it. Never mind. Let me shut up. Thank you so much. Who is this? Alizarian, thank you so much for your super chat support to 2024. Listen, thank you so much for your support. I know a couple of people ran us super chats. Will, can you see the super chats in the back there? Because for some reason, when I click on the chat box and I try to scroll up, it says no. It does not give me permission to do that. Oh, well, never mind. It did give me permission. Hold on. Let me see if I can run back some of these super chats. Thank you all so much for your support. It really means a lot. Thank you so much, Alizarian. And wait, hold on. I thought there was a couple more. Emily ran us some Canadian bucks. I always appreciate that. Thank you so much. What's the wildfire situation like, Emily? It's bad. Never mind. I know the answer. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad all across Canada. And it's interesting. They always try to blame Canada. Blame Canada. You guys remember that first South Park movie? I remember I actually tried to tell, Alizarian, you ran us some more money. Thank you so much for your super chat support. Ooh, we got another one. I didn't realize that Canadians were not familiar with the South Park Blame Canada song. I played it for some Canadians and their face frowned up. They said, we'd never heard this. I said, oh, well, don't worry about it. No, I wouldn't trip. Blame Canada. Blame Canada. Oh, Matthew. Matthew, thank you so much for your super chat support, Matthew. And Matthew said, he said, the only way that these rich motherfuckers will ever be held to any account is when is when we take back all of the wealth, yes, that they stole from us. Exactly. And thank you for that, Matthew. And that was kind of a point I wanted to, there's more money. There was kind of a point I wanted to make during that Pittsburgh story, because it's like, anyway, you know what, I'm not going to even say it. But you are correct. I think Brother Diallo has said this on Earn Your Liberation. Like, can we talk about how how is there a income gap? How is there a wealth gap? Can we talk about the ways in which the whites acquired all of this wealth and income? And to be clear, it wasn't because of their investments. It wasn't because they invested well. No, they stole it. They took it and passed it down to their heirs, and their heirs have kept it, and they kept stealing. You know what I'm saying? Through gentrification, through evictions, through all of this shit. So let's not even play no fucking games here. Emily, baby girl, thank you so much. How come I can't do this right? But thank you so much, Emily, for your super chat support. Thank you, thank you. Ooh, something is on me. No, it's not. Anyway, guys, I'm going to push along because I'm hungry. It's time to eat. So I want to thank everybody for stopping by. Please give the video a like and a thumbs up on your way out the door. Shout out to our mods. Big up to Court. Big up to Latif. Thank you so much for all that you do for the channel. Is there anything else I'm supposed to tell you guys? If you missed my talk with Justine Barron this week, Tuesday, fret not. Justine is going to join us on the Remix Morning Show on Black Power Media, I believe, on Tuesday. So her book is called They Killed Freddie Gray, The Anatomy of a Police Brutality Cover-Up. Especially if you're from the Baltimore area, I encourage you to come and tune into this discussion when we talk to Justine. And even if you're not from the Baltimore area, if you remember the Baltimore uprising of 2015, and you kind of want to know how that happened, tune in to BPM on Tuesday, because Justine is going to give us a wonderful breakdown. I'm very proud of Justine. I'm so incredibly blessed to know her. She's really, really, really a really awesome person. She speaks up for disabled rights. She's a big advocate for disabled people, because she is disabled people, and look at what she did. You know what I'm saying? She came up with this brilliant piece of investigative journalism that I encourage you all to support. Peace, Kofi. What's going on? Thank you so much, Kofi. I Manifesto. What's up? What's up? Emmanuel. What's up? What's up? I believe there is a supplemental disability support chat this weekend, Mama Lorraine and Anna, if I have that correct. So I will be posting that information to the patrons and to the members early tomorrow morning. And if you guys want to join in any of the Around the Fire disability support chats, reach out to Anna Hart on the Burn It Down with Kim Brown Discord channel, and Anna will be sure to break you off with all the info, okay? All right, guys, I am going to be out. Will and Molly, thank you for all you do. Will, you want to say what's up to the people then before we get out? Or you ready to step the fuck off? What's up?
What up, y'all? Appreciate y'all. Donate. Virgo season is upon us.
Oh,
Vote.
shit.
Donate. Love y'all.
Let's go.
Thanks for coming through.
Yo, big up to the Virgos. I'm telling you, I'm a fan of Virgos. I have a lot of Virgo placements in my chart. I like Virgos. Will is a Virgo. That's probably why we work well together. And Will has Leo experience. So when I be on my Leo bullshit, he's used to it. He's well accustomed to it. He's seen it coming. So, he's not offended by the shit. Sometimes people get offended by my Leo bullshit. You can't be offended by it. I'm just being me day after day. I continue to be me. Oh, me. I'm still that same KB. So yeah. Anyway, thanks to Will and Molly. Appreciate to all you all. Appreciate all y'all support and all that you do. See y'all later. Bye bye. Have a great, safe weekend, everybody. Deuces, deuces, deuces.